Okay. Hi everyone. Can everyone hear me? Can you see me? Can you just type it in the chat? Let me know if you can hear or see me. Okay. Hi everyone. Sorry, there was some sort of echo background. Okay. Okay. Awesome. Hi everyone. Well done for making it so far to the Writing Streak 3.0. Been amazing. I'm sure that a couple of you have perhaps received your peer submission form already. If you've not, we're working on it. So we're going to do a reshuffle today, 5 p.m. And the reason for the reshuffle is because we've distributed all the articles already, and that's why some people got 4, some got 3, some got 2. So we're going to redistribute it again and make sure that those of you who have not gotten an email going to get. Okay, so that's why we're doing the reshuffle, right? So if you've not gotten an email yet, please be patient. We're working on it. It seems that the system sort of rejected some emails, and I think it's because some of you did not input it correctly, right? And that was why. So some people made errors in their emails, and that's why it was rejected. So we're looking at doing all this again. Okay, or some. And also thank you so much for the engagement on the WhatsApp platform. It's been really, really engaging, and I'm really impressed about that. How you asking questions. Yeah, I'll try to. Myself and tutors will try to answer all your questions as soon as possible, but sometimes we can't just answer like instantly. So please try to bear with us. Okay, so in today's session, I will be taking two sessions together, today and tomorrow, and that is because there is not much to discuss. We are almost at the end of the boot camp. By next week, we'll be done with boot camp. So congratulations for making it this far. Congratulations for writing, right? So today I'm going to talk to you on what I teach you on how to make your own illustrations, how to properly cite sources, how to check for plagiarism, how to use Grammarly, right? So I would recommend Grammarly Premium. I have Grammarly Premium, so if you don't have, oh well, you can also use the free trial. But then Grammarly Premium just gives you like this extra. Yeah, I know it's quite expensive, so you can like share with somebody. So maybe you and two or three other people can come together, put money together, and like subscribe, and you sort of share it. So I feel like that way is better, right? Okay, so straight into what I have for you today. Also, if you have questions, please like post them in the chat. I would answer as I go. Okay. Uh Let me sort of share my screen. Give me like can anyone see my screen? If you can see my screen, just type in the chat. Like really. Just a minute. Okay. I assume you can see my screen. Yeah, so I just want to quickly take you through the timetable so that you know what classes you're going to have, because all these have already been discussed and shown already. So you know what classes you're going to have next. and you know when, right? So I was not available on Monday and on Wednesday to take this session. So today I'm available and I'm taking it. And then I'm also taking this session on plagiarism, right? And I think it's a really, really um important session for you. Okay. So today I'm going to show you how to make your own illustrations, right? How to add images um to your Medium posts or to your blogs, images that sort of fit into the context. And then I'm also going to talk to you on plagiarism. This session has session on hyperlinks. I saw somebody asking on the group chat. So this session was held earlier this week. Like so it already talked about hyperlinking and referencing. Okay. So let me share another tab. Okay. Uh can anyone see my screen? Okay, awesome. So yeah, there are two places I want to talk to you about. So the first is on Splash. I'm sure like some of you are pretty um familiar with Unsplash and their new improvements. So Unsplash now has like AI generated images. Cool. So now the idea is that imagine if there is like a long article, maybe like 1,000 words, and there are no illustrations. It really doesn't make any sense. Okay. So the idea is that you want to have like perhaps a welcome image that captures what you're going to talk about, right? So, for example, if I'm going to talk about five habits of, okay, let me be technical. So, if I'm going to talk about using maybe coding mistakes that mid developers make, the image I want to use should talk about coding, should depict either coding or depict mistake, right? And so that's like the idea behind using image. So it's not that you just take any image and just dump it. No, your image must depict what you're trying to say, right? And if I am to open my Medium account, I'm going to show you how to do that just now. So for example, if I want to write on coding habits, right? So I go to search. Okay. So I can choose any of all these fancy looking images. The only thing is that if I'm going to use an image from Unsplash, please make sure to cite the author. Okay. So here it says give a shout out to blah blah. So I copied this. I come to Medium. For example, I want to write a new story. Okay. And so and I say my story is five coding mistakes mid developers make. And also, please, when you're writing, make sure that your title is in sentence case. That is, every single the beginning of every single word is capitalized. Okay. So I have my introduction, blah 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 blah. Or even before my introduction, I want to insert an image, right? And the image I want to insert is this one here, right here. Okay. So I have downloaded the image already. So next thing I'll do is to come here, click on plus, then click on the image icon. It's going to open my um it's going to open my file explorer. Um, Just a sec, I'm trying to upload it. Okay, so I upload the image, and then here where you see type caption for image, so that is where you add the details about the author. So for here I can just say photo by the author name from Unsplash, right? So this is a nice way to like add an image. Now there's sometimes that you probably can't find like an image that best suits what you want to do, or you're trying to do something custom, right? So for example, if you want to write an article on maybe how to connect Python um, with MongoDB, maybe using Python or Flask API with MongoDB, for example, right? And then I just want an image that shows Python and MongoDB, just like the way those YouTube developers used to do. Like, so what I can do is that so I open Canva, right? So Canva you can get like Canva Pro. Canva Pro gives you access to like more photos, gives you access to more quality templates that you can use on the fly. But then it's also fine if you don't have a Pro. Sometimes I use Pro, sometimes I don't. So it's it's only if I really need to use Pro that I have to subscribe. Okay. So for example, I want to create I can either use a custom, so if I want to say Python Flax and MongoDB. I want to see if something like that exists so that I don't have to like recreate from scratch. Okay. Uh it doesn't exist. Okay. If something like that doesn't exist. So the next thing I want to do is I want to create it, right? So I can say, okay, I want to create a flowchart, for example, and I'm trying to see something I can adapt. Hmm. Okay, I think you can just create this from scratch, anyways. So so now here you can decide to create something custom. So for example, now I didn't find like a suitable template. Okay, so you can decide to design something custom, and this depends on the size of the image you want to use. So you can make it like a YouTube thumbnail, YouTube banner. The difference between a thumbnail and a banner is that a thumbnail is bigger than a banner, right? So okay, so for example, I said okay, I want to create the size of a YouTube thumbnail. You can also enter a custom size, right? So here you have the option of selecting a custom size. Okay, so for this to load, let me also talk about the reason why I want a flowchart. So what I want to do is I want to have Python here, and I want to have MongoDB here, and I want to have like a link that connects, right? Maybe Python Fast API, MongoDB, a connection, right? And then I want to have their logos. So I'm not just using Python words. And the next thing I want to think of is what color do I want to use? Okay. So you want to think of the color, you want to think of okay, I want to confirm that you can still hear me. If you can still hear me, just type in the chat that you can hear me. Okay, awesome. Okay, I think I'm having like a bit of issue with my network. Just a sec, please. I'm trying to switch tabs. Sorry. Okay. Confirm if you can see my new screen. Okay. So this is what the thumbnail looks like, right? Landscape, something like what I want. And then now, how do I picture this? So first off, okay, perhaps I want image of Python, not snake fish. I think sometimes you have to be specific about what exactly you want. So I want Python. I want fast API. I want logo, right? Okay, so there is no fast API logo here. So if there is no fast API logo, what you can do is to go to Google, download it and upload. Okay, yeah, okay, it's not here. So let me search for MongoDB. Okay, I have MongoDB's image. Want to make sure it's typically like the same size. So then I have my text. Say okay. So I want Python's fast API. We have MongoDB. Okay, and then I want to add an arrow. Sweet. So this is like what I want. So I can decide to have like a background color, make it. Oh, you don't want to have this actually. Um, my own advice is if you're going to be using a black text, it's very good if you have it on a white background. But if you're going to be using a colored background, then your text should be white. Like it just makes it a lot easier to read, like a whole lot. So because my background is it's not white, um good. So for example, if this is what I'm doing, of course you can decide to like make this better a whole lot. So then I want to give a title. So if I want to say um Next, okay, I may not have to say this. So now let's assume that I've gotten my image. This looks a bit dark. Okay. So assuming this is my image, next thing I want to do is I want to download it. I'm using a premium content. Awesome. Okay. Uh, yeah. Okay, so if this is my image and then I want to download it, I was using a premium content, so now I have my image downloaded. So the next thing I want to do is open my Medium page. Okay, so let me stop sharing this one and share. Let me know if you can see my screen now. And anyone's okay. Okay, awesome. Seems I'm having issues with Safari. Sorry, I have to switch back to Chrome because Chrome seems reasonable. Okay. Okay, sweet. Back to our story. Um, so this is where we were, and then so for example, I was saying if I want to insert that image now, so after I've downloaded it, you upload it just like the normal way you do that. So you click on plus. Um, what's the name of the file? Sorry, I just have to like check. Okay. I named it Python's Fast API. Oh, cool. Awesome. So cool. And that's how you like create your own illustration. So in place of this, right, this can be your um your main text, your main image rather. Okay. And that's how like you create your illustrations. So sometimes you might need to create your own, sometimes you might need to create like flow charts. So for example, if you want to build like maybe you want to show how you built an app, right? You might need to do some sort of system design so that your user understands, okay, we start from this, then we move to this, then we move to that. Or sometimes you want to explain, maybe you want to explain load balancing, or you want to explain how data moves from a server to another server, and those kind of things. Sometimes you might need to create your own illustration, right? Or you want to illustrate how to join multiple SQL databases together. Okay, so sometimes you might actually need to like show, okay, this is database one, database two, database three, and then there's like an arrow that sort of joins them together. Okay, so that is how you like create illustrations. Now if I click on publish it yet, okay, um like I said, you you have to, like, now because I have two high quality images, I can choose to make this one my preview, or I can choose to make this one. Okay, so, and that is that about creating content. Let me know if you have any questions in the chat. Gonna check now. Oh, my voice is breaking, so sorry about that. No, when you're back in Nigeria, all the network issues. So sorry about that. Okay. Let me know if you have any questions. You can post it in the chat. If there are no questions, I'm moving to the next, which is plagiarism and grammar check. Okay. Now, plagiarism is a big topic when it comes to content writing, and you know these content writing platforms don't take it lightly at all. Now, what is plagiarism? Plagiarism is you using somebody else's work without attributing to that person. Okay, so for example, you you want to write about something, but then, like, you use content from somebody else, but then you don't say, oh, I used your content, right? You're claiming it to be yours, meanwhile it's from somebody else. And that's why we have like various plagiarism checker. Now, it might happen that, especially in cases where you're writing what somebody else might have written before, right? That your content, even though it might be originally yours, has like a few flags, like really similar to somebody else's work, because of the style. Because really, there's nothing you learn that is completely yours, right? You learn from people, so you might sort of translate their own style into your own too. So that's why we need to use plagiarism checker to, first of all, know um if there are any flags, and then know where the flag is, and sort of maybe rephrase, remove, or properly attribute if necessary. And that's why the concept of hyperlinking is really important, right? So for example, I want to say this article explains a concept better, right? So you want to say, okay, you can read more about it in this link here. So instead of saying in this link here, I can just say extract what I want to say. So if I want to say 11,000 lines of code was in Google's map, for example, I'm just saying Google's map API. So Google's map API was built with 11,000 lines of code. Somebody else said that. So now I want to bring in that content, at the same time reference the author, right? And the same time say that, okay, this is my source where I'm getting that information, and that's where I can use hyperlinking. So instead of saying you can check here or you can verify here, I'll just take that text, that exact text I extracted, right? And then hyperlink it with the source. So let me give an example. Uh, so for example, if I'm saying, um, let me try to look for an article. So this is an introduction to MLOps. Okay, and okay, I want to bring in this particular point. So I say, okay, of course, I'm not going to just copy and paste directly. Okay. MLOps, maybe managing tax in ML is the core concept in MLOps. Okay, so where did I get this from? I need to do what? Hyperlink. Sorry, I have to be switching tabs. Sorry. Okay, so this is where I wrote this. Okay, so I got this from somebody. I want to hyperlink, so I highlight the text, then see this link, this chain arrow button here. You click on it, you paste the link of where you got that information from, and you click enter. So now it has been hyperlinked. So if a reader sort of, if person is reading and then comes across this place, the link will just pop up. Or if the person clicks on it, you'll be able to go to um the original document. And also note that I didn't copy this word for word, right? So here I'm saying managing tax is the cost concept in MLOps. And then in the main article, right, you see that it's saying MLOps is all about managing all of these tax, right? It's the same concept in different words, just showing you that even when you still want to cite somebody, except it's about statistics. When it comes to statistics, right, you can take it word for word. When it comes to statistics, when it comes to claims, right, you can't take it for word for word. But when it comes to other things that you can always rephrase, and the reason why is because statistics is very crucial. If you rephrase the statistics, it can mean something entirely different, right? So it is allowed to like just take it word for word, but make sure that you either share it as a quote or you hyperlink it, right? Okay. So that's the little concept about hyperlinking and proper referencing. Okay, so let me briefly talk about plagiarism. Okay, let me share this tab. Play. So you want to look for, okay, which plagiarism checker do I use? Just Google plagiarism checker, right? And then you see tons of plagiarism checkers that you can use for free without having to pay. Okay. So you can use Quillbot, you can use Grammarly, you can use Looply checker. I think I use this one more, right? You can use different kind of, and what it does is it tries to take your content and match it with a content somewhere else, right, on the internet, and try to see if there is like relation. So I always aim for 0% in my articles, like mostly 0%. And sometimes I also let the organization I'm submitting to, they, of course, even if I say my own plagiarism checker says 0%, they have to check it too, right? So they can check with whatever tool they are using. And then when it is 0%, that is when I get to publish. Some organizations allow 5%, like, and some don't. So it just depends on what is the rule in this organization. And don't worry, they're going to tell you what their rule is. So you don't have to stress too much on that. So you can use Quillbot, you can use Grammarly, you can use Dupli Checker, really, just anyone. Okay. Um, so to just check for plagiarism, copy and paste your text here. I don't really have much text. See, if I copy and paste this, you're supposed to copy and paste like almost everything, and then of course, uh, capture. So I want to check for plagiarism. content is too short. Okay, so if it were you, you would just paste like the content of your article here, depending on the word limits that they have, and then you check for plagiarism. So it's going to return you with a score, right? Let me see if I have like an article I can check here. Maybe uh, mm, okay, this was an article I was writing 9 months ago, but I did not finish it. Not because I finished it, but I didn't want to publish it because I felt like it was too personal. Okay. So maybe this is like some part of my text. Okay. You can see like I have not edited it, it's still having uh that. Okay. So check for plagiarism. Oh, I have to do capture. So sorry. Okay. Okay. You can see that it's scanning for plagiarism. 100%. Okay. Yeah. I guess I was muted. Okay, so um I have 0% plagiarism, 100% unique. Right. So it is very possible to have 0%. I have 0% in majority of my write-ups. So yeah, so that's how you like check for plagiarism. You can also use different tools just to be like really sure that um your your plagiarism is correct. And then you can also use Grammarly. I use Grammarly for grammar check. For those of you who are not familiar with Grammarly, it uses like powered by AI to help you correct your spelling. Um, what else does it do? It does like literally everything. Correct your spelling, check for plagiarism, and help you rewrite. So it does rewriting, just rephrasing. It also detects if maybe the way you sort of use the sentence, you're not using a verb correctly, you're not using like particular part of speech correctly. It's really really helpful. So if you can't get Grammarly, there are also other tools you can like check online for free tools that you can use. But I personally use Grammarly, so that's probably what I can talk about more. Um, yeah. So I have the premium account here, so I don't like. So to use Grammarly, so for example, if I want to like check for errors, okay, so I have Grammarly extension installed, and that's why you're seeing a lot of red lines. This is Grammarly. So I can just copy, paste my text here, and I can choose the goal. So if I want it casual, I want it to tell a story, and who is going to be my audience? Is it a general audience, expert, knowledgeable, general? And I want it informal, okay? So first off, he wants to help me with all the red lines. So accept all suggestions. Then he's going to like um rephrase all that. Okay. Cool. And the good thing I like about Grammarly is that um see here now is asking me to change the word is dependent to depends. Like really cool stuff. And then you can also check for this telling your delivery like how what is the impression of the article on your reader, your engagement, is it interesting? So if your engagement is low, know that your article is very boring. Okay. And then clarity, what's how easy is it for your readers to understand? Then correctness, your grammar, your spelling, and all those kind of things. So here it's asking me to use inconsistency, saying inconsistent punctuation, right? So you either choose one type or the other. Okay. Then yeah, so that's how to use um grammar check and plagiarism. Okay. So if you have any questions, please ask on the group. Okay, someone is asking, is it compulsory to add images to articles aside from important illustration? It's good because it sort of beautifies whatever you're doing. Like it just makes it beautiful, really. So that's why it's good to add images. Very good. It makes it, and it doesn't necessarily have to be at the top only. You can have another one maybe somewhere in the middle. But then what you don't want to avoid a clown write up where everywhere is just image and it's just ridiculous, right? You want to have minimal, maybe between 1 to 3, depending on how you really need to use it. One might be okay depending on like really what you need to do. So if I use an image as I used an image to like introduce, okay, showing that this is coding, just like I did. Let me share the. I'm trying to look for my previous write up. I Yeah. So this one. So just like I used here, so I can use this for my introduction, just like give an idea. Okay, this person is talking about coding. Then later on, maybe I now need to introduce the architecture, right? So I can also create an illustration to do that. Or I need to show you like the end-to-end process of how this thing works, right? I can use an image. And then it's also good to add tables for comparison, especially if you're going to compare, maybe you're comparing these two. So for example, now the just like the article you wrote last time, was saying, okay, maybe I'm saying 5 top tools to use or 5 top websites to use to learn Python, right? That is like a comparing. I'm saying, okay, first, second, third. I can have a table where I put all these websites and then I say, okay, this one gives you free access for 12 months. This one, it gives your reader an understanding, like a quick overview of what your article is about. And the reader can quickly pick. So if I want to make a decision, right, I can already say, okay, this person already highlighted the key things, right? So this one is free for 12 months, so it's free for 3 months, so it's free for 1 week or 7 days, right? So it's also good to have like tables for illustration. So you can either have images, have things like charts, have tables, right? And maybe you're doing something on data analysis and visualization. It is also nice if you can show the result of your analysis, especially if it's a Power BI project or a data exploration project. It's really nice if you can show. So yeah, it's good to have images. So if you use Grammarly, okay, must the plagiarism checkup be 0%? Um, if it's personally, if it's your article, for me, I always like to push myself to the very best, make myself the very best in whatever I do, right? So I my own goal is that the plagiarism check must be 0. That is it. If I'm having more than 0, then I know that I'm doing something wrong. Like there's something I need to correct. So it's more like if it's your personal article, more like what you said for yourself. But please make it between 0 to 5%. You should not exceed that, really. Especially because it's not like an academic write-up where you'll be citing people's thesis. An academic write-up, you'll be doing literature review, you need to literally write people's work. So there is no how that you not have like small plagiarism, right? I think for academics is between, I think, 0 to 15 or 10, not or 5, not so sure. But again, if you're writing for a company, it depends on what the company can tolerate. Some companies tolerate as much as 10%, right? And some companies don't. So it just depends on the rules and regulation. Okay. Um so if you use Grammarly and it says 80%, what does that mean? Um 80%, if you're talking about plagiarism, it means that 80% of your article is plagiarized. That is, 80% of your content is not your own. That is the only 20, the remaining 20% is what you wrote by yourself. And that shows that you literally went to copy people's, just went online, copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. That's what you did. And that is like X wrong, very wrong. It shows that, hey, you did something wrong. Okay. So you should not have 80% is too much, right? Too much. That's if you're talking about plagiarism. But if it's not plagiarism, please let me know what you're talking about. Okay, how many images is minimal in an article? I think I mentioned that already. You don't want to have your article looking like a clown or a playground, right? Between 1 to 3, and again, it depends on what you want to use image for, right? Sometimes you might need to explain workflows. For example, if someone's and again, another thing is you should not make your article so compressed. So for example, if you are building a project and the project has 2 parts, right? And the 2 parts are like entirely different. Why don't you just break it to 2 articles instead of having one very long article? So you would not have like, you won't bore the reader, and then you just sort of reference the next one. So you say, okay, you need to maybe this article is continued in this other article. So just like reference it. I think that's like what if you are referencing again, if you're referencing rephrase, right? Except it is statistics. And it's not like as if somebody used that in his article. I use that, it will flag it as plagiarism. No, it's not that you use which and I use which. Come on, which is general English. So it's not about using the English words, but the sentences themselves. So sometimes I can't say, but with the plagiarism checker, no, it would not, because when you copy and paste, it most likely would not take the hyperlinked text. So no, it would not. Um, okay, I think I have answered all the questions. Yeah, it's past 4 already. So thank you everyone for coming today to today's session. There'll be no class again for this week because I already took today's and tomorrow together. Okay. So if you have more question, you can always ask on the group. I'll try my best to answer as soon as possible. Okay, I see one last question. It says, if I'm changing the words, do I still need to? Yes, it's just like as if you're picking something from somebody else. You still need to reference it because it's not your work. Yeah, you still need to reference it. Okay. Uh, yeah, I think that's all the questions. Okay. So thank you everyone for your time. Have a wonderful evening.